A very good evening to all in all watching our program from across the globe, different time zones, different part of the world, and different part in India as well. I am wishing you a very welcome in this program at 8 p.m. 11 December 2021. And I'm happy to present this program not just because it has come on ICSI platform, but also because today the guests, those are with us, they are from education fraternity. They are educators, they are builders, they're the builders of nation. They are the energy house in themselves. So I just bow my head, I just bow down to them because they have dedicated their entire life for youth, for their development, for energizing them. And from here, I'm just starting my webinar, welcoming you once again. I'll show a few slides, and from there, I'll hand over the stage to our advisor, ICSI Education Northeast India, Mr. Tyron, and he'll continue the conversation with our two distinguished guests, Dr. Anirudha Burmon and Mr. Nicholas. So let's begin. I want to tell that ICSI, International Chamber for Service Industry, who is a link between 31 million overseas Indian, it is not just a line to just say, but it is an essence, it is a dedication, it is a devotion of the entire team of ICSI, every person who is associated with ICSI, to make the entire service industry empowered, to make entire service industry relevant. And when we talk about service industry, education services is the most important part of it. So we have dedicated our this mission, and we have started it from the lockdown itself in March 2020, and we have dedicated our entire series making education relevant for youth, for teachers, for educators, for counselors, every person who is associated with education ecosystem and everything which is associated with education ecosystem. And we are thankful to everyone that you are with us. You have, and because of all your support, we have come to a long way, and we have come to more than 1,350 webinars. As I say, our main focus is ICSI. Focus is on service industry. And as we say that we have dedicated entirely for teachers and youth empowerment. So we have dedicated this year also for teachers and youth empowerment, because we believe that these two major pillars of education ecosystem can together build Bharat. And we are proud to say that in India's first finishing school network has been started by ICSI way back in 1994. And from that time, we were working towards personality development, towards skills development, towards talent development of entire education system, including teachers and youth. And in that, we have trained more than 52,000 youths through service industry finishing school for global family. And they are now working in different parts of the world. So this is all possible because of the dedication and devotion of the entire team of ICSI, along with the people, those who are associated in this effort. Apart from students, we have also trained and done many teachers empowerment training programs. And I also want to tell that due to lockdown, we don't shut this efforts of ours, we don't stop into it, and we turned our finishing school into digital mode, e-Gurukul service industry. And whatsoever we are giving physically on ground, now we are giving it through digital mode, through technology, and we are still empowering our teachers and our youth. And I also want to say this, it's very good. Technology, if we use it in a very important and powerful manner, it can be very beneficial because it gives us an opportunity to get connected with millions and millions of people across the globe, anywhere in the part of globe, because we just have to click one and we are together on a common platform. So thanks to technology for that, and our e-Gurukul. And e-Gurukul brings education and skills because we want that education should not be theoretical, it should not be redundant, it should be innovative, it should be very, very creative. So music, dance, gamification, happiness, humor, and whatnot. Outdoor activities, nature-based. So you can see our canvas is very large, and we want that education should be done in a very holistic manner, in a very innovative manner. And in this efforts, there are 36 sector skill council in our country. And out of them, we are very closely working with 3 of them. One is Media Entertainment Skill Council. Thankful to Mr. Mohit Soni. He's the CEO of Media and Entertainment Skill Council. And the second one is Your Beauty Wellness Sector Skill Council. So the CEO of Wellness Sector Skill Council is Madam Monica Behar. And at the same time, MEPSC, Management and Entrepreneurship and Professional Skill Council, and the CEO is Colonel Anil Kumar Pokhriyalji. So together we see this is the triangle that is reflecting our agenda, our action plan, that education alone cannot do everything. When it combines with skills and entrepreneurship opportunities, it can bring wonders. Shiksha, Kaushalta, Udyamita, that is what our action plan is. And we are also we have also developed strategies for services export across the globe, specifically in education services. And with this, I also want to tell that, as I always say, is that our weekends are more powerful than our weekdays, because we bring many flavors on Saturdays and Sundays. Before this program, you all have watched the Ayurveda for Global Wellness. Now we have gone to Northeast India. Tomorrow morning, we'll bring a program from USA with Professor Satinder Dhimanji, making education relevant. Gyan Yagya Srimad Bhagavad Gita Vidya Se Adhyatma Vidya Ki Or. So do join at 9:30. And afterward, film tourism this week, we'll talk with Sri Manmohan Singh ji and many other programs. But for now, do join us on YouTube, subscribe our channel, press the bell icon so that you can receive all our notifications timely. Whatsoever human mind can achieve, whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe can achieve, this is what our motto is, and we are thankful to all of you. This slide is very important to show to everyone, because whosoever is watching us for the first time, I want to say this, that the given email ID, we have seen many inquiries, we have seen many suggestions coming on this email, and we do reply to them. We do incorporate those suggestions in our programs time to time, and new flavors to be added. So keep posting, keep writing to us on the given email ID, and you can also WhatsApp us your suggestions at the given WhatsApp number. So I once again welcome my guests, and I now invite all 3 of them, and I hand over the platform to Mr. Tyron Debras, and I'm very thankful to him to giving me this opportunity to show a few slides. So welcome, sir. Namaste.
Good evening, Doctor, and thank you for that lovely introduction. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This evening we have 2 wonderful people, Dr.
Yes.
Burmon. We have Dr. Anirudh Burmon, who started his career, Meghalaya, went on and worked and finds now in Behar. A man got, yes?
Sir,
Hello,
now
doctor?
your voice has been broken in between, but now it is clear. Please go ahead.
Okay. Dr. Burmon comes with 41 years service of education here in the tribal states of Northeast India. Now presently working in the BT University, Cooch, Behar, author of many English textbooks and actively involved in the spread of English language. Along with him, we have Nicholas Kharnami, also known as Mirchi RJ Nikki from Shillong, a teacher by profession and an eco warrior. He has a program called My Shillong, My Pride, which works on waste management. Also, he runs an excellent NGO called Kapla EU, okay, that focuses on social, economic, sports, cultural, and environment. All right, and he's also a TV anchor and a social media influencer. Welcome, Dr. Burmon and Nicholas. Also known as
Thank you, Tyron.
Thank you, Mr. Tyron. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, so lovely to see both of you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Nikki, I think Shillong is biting cold.
Oh, yes. You can see the muffler. And Dr. Anirudh is all in his shirt. I mean, yeah.
I'm feeling warm still, even this.
Well, we all three have lived in Shillong at one time or the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'll start this evening's event with Dr. Burmon. Doctor, coming from the Northeast,
Yeah.
and now in Cooch, Behar, the place of the Rajmata Gayatri Devi, who herself was a renowned educationist. What insights can you bring to the table this evening?
Yeah. Good evening, Tyron, and good evening, friends out here. And especially thanks to Tyron for roping me in this program. Now, see, I have lived 2/3 of my life in the Northeast, and my teaching career, at least 20 years, have been in the Northeast, and the rest 20 years is out here. So, like, I am from the Northeast. I'm a representative of the Northeast in West Bengal. I still look at it that way only. I'm a product of the Northeast. Very simple.
Yes.
I started my schooling in Cherrapunji, basically. For a short while, it was in Guwahati for some time. So all of it was in Shillong and Cherrapunji mainly. I devoted some time in teaching in that school where even Tyron was there for some time, Assam Rifles Public School. And I started basically teaching in Nagaland, Zuneboto district. It's a government college now. And I was for some time the principal of Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya in Sibsagar, and in a small place called Tukrajar. Now, why I give this background was, so I've seen people there from a very close angle. The rest of my life was in Garo Hills, especially in Tura. I was a teacher in Tura Government College. Khasi was more of a first language for me, apart from Bengali those days. Haven't spoken much last 20 years, but still. Now see, the problem in the Northeast is basically the education system. Things must have changed quite a bit now. is not too different from the rest of the country, though. Now, just some time back, I would like to counter Chitra's contention about education. Education is not from books only. The skills are very much involved. That is where it was missing. That is where people confuse. Now, we have taught them, we have given them a certificate. They've done their masters, they've done their PhDs or graduation or whatever. Now, what are they fit for? Northeast has a strong background of English. Agreed. See, having said that, see, education is best imparted through the mother tongue or the first language. Now, there's a huge problem in Northeast. Nagaland has some 22 or 23 recognized languages. They don't understand each other. Meghalaya, basically Khasi and Garo. I'm not bringing in Sintang that way. I mean, it's quite a bit Khasi, and the Pnar is quite close that way. So there's a huge problem. I remember when I did my schooling in Bengali medium for some time, from class 2 to class 6, I'm sorry. And again, from 7 onwards, it was English medium. So there was a huge problem. That way, one way you were lucky that now it's all English medium. Our Khasi friends used to do it in English, and we could write in Bengali from 7 onwards. But luckily for me that I was advised to write in English. So the huge problem with the terminology we faced. But luckily for our school, I did my schooling in Cherrapunji Ramakrishna Mission. There was a lot of possibility for training in skills in form of hobbies, we used to call them. So someone could, go for typewriting, someone could go for beekeeping, soap making, carpentry, and quite a lot. So at least after our class 10th exam, or by the time we complete the class 10th exams, we were ready for some opportunity. Now, my question is it all about job? Or instead of applying for a job, instead of being employed somewhere, why aren't we able to generate jobs? I'm the master of myself. I'm also employing some others. Now, all our target is giving them some certificates. Skills aren't there. Even if skills are there, they are getting ready for jobs. And this is extremely important. We've got wonderful talents in the Northeast. Wonderful. Believe me, wonderful talents. But if we could globalize the whole thing, now that there's a huge opportunity during this pandemic, we've got these online courses. I tell all my friends, put all your stuff in the YouTube. Let people see it. Let the whole world be your student. Let us learn from each other. It's a huge opportunity now. So we can train ourselves up. We really don't know what's coming next. Years back, I was doing a course called Certificate in Computing. That was from Indira Gandhi National Open University. And there was theory, chaos theory. It's like you do a master's in some subject, you're thinking of a job, and tomorrow you find that job isn't there. So you do another master's. So that way you do some 10, 20 certificates. Now, even at that end, you may not be able to get any job even after doing your 10 or 12 or 20 masters or 20 courses. What are you prepared for? Shall we start crying? Or shall we be prepared for that we can still do something? Because as Stephen Hawking says, change is the main thing. Change is the only constant in life. And we have to accept change. if we really don't know what's there in tomorrow for us, but if we're prepared to accept the change, if we're prepared that we can do something tomorrow, that we should think very seriously about upgrading the skills. We've seen Chitra talking about the soft skills. It's a huge area in soft skills development. Are we prepared for that? Now, central government is giving this auto tinkering labs. You can talk of robotics, you can talk of artificial intelligence, you can talk of 3D printing and whatever. Like how many schools, suppose, let me talk of Meghalaya, how many schools have actually applied for this? How many schools have actually got it? It's a huge area. People can learn. And side by side, very important thing is developing a scientific temperament. This is something is very much missing out there. It's very important. If you have to fight, if you have to, because this is the time for survival of the fittest. We have to fight. Maybe a lot of us are thinking about reservation. There are job reservations. That won't work. That's not going to work. There's one thing, yes, jobs need to be reserved for some people. There are huge problems, but I still believe that Northeast can produce the best in the country. If we can open up.
Right, doctor.
Thank you.
I'll just, I'll stop you there. And
Yes.
that was excellent, an excellent introduction that you gave just now about education, coming from the land of Rajmata Gayatri Devi. Nicholas?
Yes. I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Shillong has always been a center of excellence for education.
Mhm.
But now and then it's been taking a beating.
Mhm.
What ideas would you suggest that could restore and bring it back to that elevated position?
Right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Tyron, for that question. And good evening once again, gentlemen, who are present in this meet, and everyone who's watching us at this point of time. Kublai, namaskar, adab, salam, namaste, and Kachanmiyat Kapakumen from my city, from my state, that's Meghalaya, and of course, the Scotland of the East, Shillong. This is Matt Boy Nigijay, or well, rather, Mirchi Aji Nigijay. But apart from that, of course, as I've been introduced as Nicholas. Dr. Anirudh, it's such a pleasure to be in the panel along with you. And thank you so much, Mr. Tyron, for that very important question that you highlighted. Well, I would say that Meghalaya, is still actually, as a matter of fact, the center of excellence when it comes to education. But that would be only at the graduate level. Only at the graduate level. Perhaps what we need to look at, or perhaps what the government needs to look at this point of time, is to have a paradigm shift towards this whole idea of the center of excellence that we all so hype about, the state of Meghalaya, looking from a global perspective. At this point of time, what's happening, it's all about at the graduate level, and that's where I feel that our education system has lacked. And as Dr. Anirudh had been mentioning, about the lapse that is there in our education system, all of this is actually a part of what the problem is in our state. And just to add to what Dr. Anirudh has been mentioning, if you look at the way the pattern is, the way we have been looking at education system in the state of Meghalaya is only at matriculation level, higher secondary level, degree level, and that's about it. And after that, the children are left on their own to go and and fend for their own. And again, all of that they have actually learned here bubbles out to go and experiment out of Northeast in search of higher education or professional education. Now, the question that arises here is that what is the way forward for the state of Meghalaya in order to either continue or to be able to excel more in this field? Well, I would say that there are very important key points that perhaps we need to look very seriously in it. And that includes the lack of professional courses in the state of Meghalaya, the lack of higher education in terms of engineering, medical, or other allied courses, the lack of infrastructure that is there in the state of Meghalaya. And again, coming to teachers training, again, that also is way behind. Right now, Meghalaya is in a mode where school level, secondary level, high secondary level teachers training is going on through Nishta and various other programs. So, and we are talking about, professional courses, dropout level in the state of Meghalaya. So, just like what Dr. Anirudh was mentioning earlier, that our education system is more about degrees, is more about, passing out your matriculation and then finishing your class 12, and then after that finishing your degree. And then we've got tons of students who have already completed the degree and they don't know where to go, what to do. So that is where I believe that our education system has gone wrong, where I don't know whether it's too late, but the bent of mind where skills should be harnessed or have been part of our education system has never been exploited or never been tried. And not just that, if you look at the education system at the grassroots level, it's very sad to see that at the grassroots level, our education system is still way behind. I mean, we are talking about ICT and things like that. Let's not even get there, because hardly schools have even electricity. And teachers training for that matter to be able to adapt to the system. So if I would say that if Meghalaya has to excel more, apart from just being tagged as the education hub, so to say, there is a need to change the whole paradigm of the education system in our state. No more of that secondary level, high secondary level, but beyond that, and moreover, bending its mind towards professional courses. Now, may I give you an example of how many professional institutions are there in the state of Meghalaya? Come to think about it, except for mass communication, hardly there ain't any other. And when we're looking at children who are passing out their class 10, 12, they are left with no skill development throughout the 10 years or the 2 more added years of their study. And at the end of the day, when they are finishing their class 12, they still are at a loss, knowing absolutely nothing about what they would do or what they are going to do. So there are very important aspects of the failure that has led to our education system to cause a barrier, as a matter of fact, to become a barrier for many of our young people out there. So I would say that if Meghalaya as a state wants to keep up to that name and fame and glory of itself as the educational hub or the excellent center of education, I would say that it has to definitely change its outlook towards education system in our state.
Well, I think the NEP 2020 would be in a position to rectify the ills that are there in Indian society as a whole. So I think I'm going to be a little optimistic over here with the NEP 2020. Anyway, I appreciate your frankness over here, Nicholas, because you've called a spade a spade.
It's high time. It's high time. Yeah. I myself, if today I am a radio jockey, it is because of my God-gifted talent that I have. It was not that I was taught or learned anywhere. As a host, as an MC, as a TV anchor, it is just an inborn skill that I have. And I harness it myself. Imagine there are so many other young people out there who haven't been given a mirror to look into and to explore their potential and to be also given an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Thanks to music, at least I would say that thanks to music in the state of Meghalaya, that children are being able to explore their innate talent, at least in that particular field. But still, I see no future because except for launching themselves on YouTube, they have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
At least now they are, venturing into Spotify and other music platforms. But apart from that, there's no scope, there's no industry as such.
Yeah.
Especially folk music. Especially folk music.
That's
So,
right.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Dr.
those factors
Burmon.
are there.
Yeah, Dr. Burmon, now that you're at that elevated position, being a PhD, and yet, do you think that teachers would need to be reskilled to make our students future ready?
Yeah, that is exactly what I wanted to add to what such a wonderful presentation Nicholas made. See, basically, a whole problem starts with teacher education. Whole problem. See, elsewhere in the States and in Canada, there are mentors. We don't have the concept of mentors out here in India. Forget Northeast. I mean, I'm talking of the whole of the country. Now, we need some mentors to tell the teacher trainers or teacher educators what should be done. We have done our B.Ed, we have done our M.Ed or whatever. Now, that was basically theoretical. We really don't know how to, what LIC says, Life Insurance Premium, that they want to show you a dream. They're unable to dream. So we should be able to give them a formula with the help of which they will be able to reach their dream.
Okay.
Taught them, we have made them, understand, or we have made them memorize things. They've mugged up things, but they came to no use, as rightly Mr. Nicholas has said, very rightly.
Okay.
Just give 1 second on this. Now, say, a few years back, I'm criticizing the government. I mean, politics does come in somehow. A few years back, I wrote to the director SCRT. I think I had a phone call. I called him up. Say, I was with the Oxford University Press for some time. I was a resource person of the Northeast. And at the moment, I'm with the Pearson. So I said, look, I can give back something to Meghalaya. I've taken so much and I can give back. But somehow, people aren't very interested. People means the bureaucrats. At the top of it, they're not very interested. They really don't know what needs to be done. So unless they understand, it's very difficult for the people at so-called at lower levels. Yeah. Thanks, Nicholas. Wonderful.
You hit the nail on its head. Nicholas.
Yeah.
Being in the public eye with your being a radio jockey, how do you feel you could create the ICE experience among the youth? The ICE, ICE, standing for information, communication, and entertainment. The ICE experience.
Right. Well, that's what radio is all about at the end of the day. That's what radio is all about. It's all about information, education, and communication, as a matter of fact. And that's exactly what radio for me was actually love at first sight. And when it happened just like I was not at all somebody who knew that I would become a radio jockey one fine day, though I was a big fan of, announcers from All India Radio and things like that. But then when I actually became part of the first radio station that I was part of, I realized that sense of responsibility that I had as a radio jockey. And keeping in mind that I had the power to communicate with people through this brilliant medium, to be able to interact with them, to be able to pass across, various concerns, various issues, and that too in a lighter note in which there is a sense of belonging and a sense of responsibility towards various issues. And that's exactly how radio has been a medium for me. And as a matter of fact, I will connect this to my teaching career as well. How radio actually has also been able to help me, enhance my teaching skills, because that way, when I teach at school, I am no more just, I am no more, how do we put it? I'm no more like an old school teacher. Rather, I'm here like a new age teacher. And, the interactions are more vibrant. The students, they feel the positivity in the class. The way that the topics are being discussed, the deliberations that happened, the interactions that happened, the communication that happens is more vibrant than the old school way. And that way, there is this bridge that's being created between the students and I, and more importantly, through the medium of radio, also been able to highlight various student-related issues. In some way or the other, been able to put those elements in terms of life hacks, in terms of jokes, which eventually don't mean jokes, but then they have a very, I would say, use the word sly here, but then I would say, in a way that the students are able to understand. Yes. Say, just talking about studying patterns, when does a student need to study? And through radio, when I'm being able to say that, hey, if you're having your exams next month, well, don't even think that you'd be sitting at night and trying to study the whole night, because that won't make sense to you. But what you can do is wake up at 4, study till 6, then listen into my morning show, and then see how things are going to happen. And adding other elements, adding other elements. Well, I do have a segment called My Shillong, My Pride. And there I've been adding elements of our state so that students are actually being able to almost, students are being able to learn in that way about the state of Meghalaya. Also, at the same time, there's a segment that I do called Riddle Diddle Do, where basically it's more about various elements of GK and stuff like that I put in, which also I feel somehow or the other has been able to enhance learning among the students. And back to school, it's the same way. So it's all about using this platform. As a matter of fact, I feel radio is still that very important medium of information, communication, and of course, entertainment and education at the same time. And I feel so privileged that I've been given this opportunity through Radio Mirchi. And it just enhances my skills as a teacher to be able to put it in such a way where I believe that even educational courses could be somehow roped in to my show. And even I'm planning that for the better. I'm even planning to talk to the education department here that maybe class 10 courses, maybe there are some elements of the courses in class 10 that can be put in a show format where students can actually learn through more interactive manner. Now, let me put across also one very important issue here. We don't have a system of community radio in our state. Yes. There are a couple of institutions that have applied. St. Anthony's had applied. A couple of NGOs had applied. But because of some technical issues, which I don't want to share right now, but these are from the Home Ministry issues.
Problem. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, NEHU, Northeastern Hill University, it's such an excellent institution that we have, doesn't have a community radio.
No.
Talk about all the institutions that we have in the state of Meghalaya. Talk about the institutions here in Tura, in Garo Hills. No, a community radio could have been a brilliant mode of education, information, entertainment for our state. I recently met Mr. James Sangma, and I had got across and I said to him that, sir, it's high time that we need to have community radios in almost every district in our state, where the government can also pump in its developmental programs, but at the same time, at least we can involve our education curriculum also some way or the other, which will be able to disseminate the much needed information, especially in rural areas. So I feel that radio is a very important medium, as our Honorable Prime Minister also has revived radio through his Man Ki Baat episode. So which goes to say that radio is still a very powerful medium to be able to reach out. And why not? This is the era where our education system should be using all means possible not just mobile phones that now, just because of the pandemic, we have to, get into this system of learning. But it's high time that radio should be used as a medium of information, education, entertainment, and communication.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicholas, for that passionate plea of yours. Dr. Burmon, what is most appealing to you from the NEP 2020? According to you.
Yeah. Before that, I'll just add to what Mr. Nicholas has so wonderfully placed. He's basically talking of STEM education, or STEAM education rather, these days. Science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. That art element was missing. So if you can integrate all these, learning becomes wonderful.
Yeah.
And he was also referring to teaching through music. Like one of my trainees is already present in this meeting. He's not Tyron the Brass, he's Debubrata Das. He's there. He knows, what I try to teach is teach through games. Teach through games. As rightly Nicholas was talking of. Music, games, radio. Radio has helped me a lot in my teaching. Right from the days in Shillong and later on in Turam, Tyron had must have watched some of the programs, even in TV later.
Yeah.
NEP.
That's right.
NEP. See, one very good thing about NEP 2020 is, nothing is lost. Now, suppose we start a course and somehow we are unable to complete. We go elsewhere, and the course is over. We can't get it back. Now with NEP, I can go out with a certificate. I can come back and rejoin and have a diploma or a master's or advanced diploma or whatever. And this specifically talking of the skills which we were referring to earlier. This is the most important thing. I think our president APJ was talking of the skills. I think this is the first of the presidents who talked of skills. So unless we learn the skills, there is nothing. As rightly Nicholas has said, say they go up to graduation maximum. Then what? We really don't know. So if you have the skills, you can go ahead. So I've seen even my colleagues during this pandemic, they're somehow not too, happy with this online mode. I understand there are problems in the online mode. Agreed. But if you're unable to face the crowd here, you face the crowd in those four walls, in that jail. I'd rather call it that jail. I really don't want classes to be taken inside those four walls. It should be outside. So that opportunity is given to us now. So it would not have been possible for me to meet Nicholas. So that exchange, I'd seen this in Guwahati, in South Point, years back. They used to have conferencing. They used to pick up a class in London and one of their classes, and then they used to interact. So these things are very important, gives you an opportunity. So I believe NEP gives us all this. See, when Indira Gandhi National University came up, people, were not too happy about quite a few things. See, suppose you get a degree with physics, chemistry, mathematics. You can also get a degree with history, political science, education. Now, why can't we have a degree by combining these? Some might ask, what sort of degree is this? But you're getting a bachelor's degree. Maybe I'm good at physics. I may not be very good at chemistry. but I can't leave that out. I may
Now
not be.
you can. No, now you can.
Now we can. Now we can.
Yeah.
In fact, one of my cousins, she is in the All India Radio, Delhi. She had asked me once. She did her graduation from St. Mary's, Shillong. She asked me, okay, should I go for English honors or mathematics honors? She completed her pre-university science. One of my students in Tura asked me, sir, why can't you take English honors with botany, zoology, and chemistry as electives? I said, why not? But the system wouldn't permit. If you can take with English honors with art subjects, well, it will be a little more difficult maybe. He may have to slog a bit, but what harm? So now I think these options are coming up. If you can do something, go ahead. That openness was extremely important.
Yeah.
Learned so many things now.
Right. Thank you, Doctor, for that thing that you brought to our notice about the NEP. Nicholas, you're a teacher and an eco warrior, and I've heard a lot about your work, and I've seen you on Facebook. How best can you, as an RJ and a teacher, bring about the importance of preserving the planet, knowing fully well what happened recently in Scotland, where the global leaders met? And frankly speaking, I really don't see much hope over there, because we will exceed 1.5 degrees.
Yes, we will. Yes.
We need to look closer home. So how best could you do that?
Right. Wonderful question, I would say, Mr. Tyron. Well, I'll take a little time here to put my point across. I was a radio jockey prior to becoming a teacher. I had to complete my B.Ed first. So I wanted to actually complete my B.Ed first before becoming a teacher. And so in the process, I did join a school, and I wished to complete my B.Ed first. And when I did, and when I studied B.Ed here at the PGT Shillong, I was able to understand the in-depth meaning of what being a teacher is all about. It's not just about going and standing in front of a bunch of students there and opening up a book and reading out lines and then answer the following questions. That's about it, and asking them to write exams. But I realized we are dealing with human psychology, and especially children's psychology. And so that made it so very interesting for me that eventually I realized that being a radio jockey, first and foremost, was the idea of able to connect with the listeners out there. But now being a teacher, it's more like I'm connecting there with my listeners who are my students out there. Now, how do we mobilize the mass now? How do we mobilize the strength that I have in front of me? And so that's how the integration happened. Now, as far as my eco-activism, or as you call it, as a warrior is concerned, well, a warrior who's fighting a war that will eventually, I don't know, lead to what, as you rightly put across, with all that blah, blah, blah stuff that happened and has been happening. But nonetheless, as you said, I do look at the global phenomena. However, I am very particular about this, that I am very my region centric, my state centric at this point of time, because that's where we need to work upon. And so through the medium of radio, I realized that, and through, of course, my activism, I realized the very fact that it's not about pointing fingers anymore at politicians. It's no more pointing fingers at the system, but it's about empowering the minds. And I'm not talking about here, about the age group, which is, or the target group, which is above 30. I'm looking at 10, or I'm looking at 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 till 18. That's my TG. And so that's the medium that I'm connecting through radio as well. So as far as my organization is concerned, or as far as my individual activism is concerned, what I've realized is that I have got now the very important medium through the means of teaching, as a teacher to be able to send across that message, to be able to communicate with them, and to be able to also walk the talk. When I say walk the talk, as I said, I don't just go about and talk about environmental issues and stuff like that. I walk the talk. I believe in act. I believe in rather doing than talking about it. And that's how I've been doing it for the last 12 years. And no wonder why every time I go anywhere, this is what I carry with me. This is what I'm known for in the state of Meghalaya. And this is what everybody is afraid of. The question that I want to put across to every student out there. I'll tell you one incident that happened. I was in this locality where I had done the My Shillong, My Pride campaign. And it was a campaign that was going on for almost 14 days, which ended up in the 20th day. And how I do it is basically, suppose there is a pile of garbage somewhere in the city. I go and stand there with this question without saying anything. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, 5, 6, 7. As long as the system awakens, the place is cleaned up. But the cleaning up is not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is to create that awakening among the passerbys, because that's where the main catch is. That's where the change has to happen. It's not about coming and cleaning it. It's not about Swachh Bharat Abhiyan where it's supposed to be swept and cleaned. It's about cleansing the mind. Swachhta हमारे सोच में आनी है. Swachhta हमारे जीवनी में आनी है. हमारे दूरदर्शिता में आनी है. हमारे रहन सहन में आना है. So that's where the change has to happen. And that's the whole idea. So when I stand there, people look at me and they say, hey, he's gone back. And this is not, I mean, I'm talking about how many campaigns that I've done, almost like 20, 25 campaigns all around the city, of Shillong. And so in one such campaign, what happened is that there was a family who was passing by, and the father got so disturbed by the child asking the question that they returned back to me and they stopped and they said, my child wants to ask you a question, so please answer. I can't answer this question. She said, uncle, why are you holding that question mark? And that's it. I think that's it. At the end of the day, the job is done. If the child has been able to trigger that question to her parent, my job is done. My job is done. The parent couldn't answer. And I said, child, it is for you. It's for your future. It's that one fine day I should be able to stand and answer to you to say that this is what I have done and this is my contribution to protect our environment for you. And so that you also learn that we need to walk the talk. We need to not read environmental education in schools. We need not just come out on the 5th of June with a placards on Earth Day with placards and scream and shout our hearts out. And then at the end of that whole rally and that whole drama, then those placards are just dumped out somewhere. No. My idea is that every single day a child should be able to inculcate it as a part and parcel of the life, as part of the culture. Khasis have been known for the culture of Tipriu Tiplay, Kaleko Letsuba, which we call as Kalong Rinyang. Sadly, that is dying. So the question that is being raised is for that too. That where we are heading, where is this generation heading? Where is our identity heading? Where is our culture heading? So likewise, that is the whole idea and the whole concept that I've imbibed, be it through radio, be it through my teaching, be it through my activism. And this question mark actually is my tool to be able to cut across ages, to cut across various target groups, to be able to put across this very important question is, what is the answer to this question that you have? And frankly, I would say that though this is not something that I can brag about, but yes, I can say that, yes, I can see the change that's happening. Although now the campaign has gone to a level where I call now as the Operation Green Hornet campaign, where, well, we have to use sometimes an iron fist to straighten things up. And that's how it's happening now. School children have been empowered. I tell them this, use this power, use this tool that you have now. This is your tool. You find anyone littering, shoot a video, put it up, and you'll see how the system functions. You'll see how the system will go and find them. So that's why I say the Shillong needs to be now a fine city rather than a pine city. you know. So sorry. So that's basically how I feel that I'll be able to empower these young children, because right now they are all at a loss. They don't know. They don't believe in the system. They don't believe in our environmental laws. They don't believe in our blessed leaders, So sadly, they are on their own to fend for their own, and with Mother Nature left to, to her plight. So all I'm doing is trying to empower them with this question mark, that they should be able to have the courage to stand and question themselves, question the system, question the society, and that's how the change is going to happen, that they want to see.
Because we don't believe in ourselves.
Yeah, true.
That's the whole problem.
True. It's always this, that someone is going to do something about it.
Yeah.
But not me.
Yeah.
It's not
Not me. We're waiting for someone to come.
All right.
Just like John Mayer
like
said, waiting for the world to change. I mean, waiting for whom? Waiting for whom for the world to change?
All right.
It has to begin with you and I.
Yeah. Nicholas, I can see you are a passionate crusader.
Oh.
And I applaud that position that you have taken. And I'm sure you'll be equally passionate in the classroom.
Oh,
we need there's still hope for Meghalaya and the Northeast. I think it's been a wonderful conversation with Dr. Burmon, who I've known personally from Tura and earlier from ARPS Shillong. I've met Nicholas when my daughter was doing her B.Ed in Shillong, and I was fascinated with the way he would conduct himself, even though I met him briefly a couple of times when I would go to meet my own daughter there. And today I saw the full Nicholas, who is full of passion, and it's wonderful to have a young teacher like him with the passion and fire that he possesses. Excellent work, Nicholas. And Dr. Burmon, I wish you all the very best in Cooch, Behar. Do return to the Northeast, the land of your birth.
Yeah, sure.
Dr. Chitra.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I was actually waiting because it's just an inspirational, very energetic session. And I do want to thank Mr. Nicholas and Dr. Burmon. So, Dr. Burmon, sir, you told that now we find teachers everywhere in India, but we don't find mentors. But after listening to both of you, I can say that I have seen 2 mentors in front of me. So that is very, very, very wonderful, sir, and really inspiring.
Yeah, I think we need to change the tag of teachers. I think that has become too old school.
Too old, I think, yeah.
We are no more teachers. We should be mentors. Every teacher should become a mentor. Then only they are fit to teach. If you are not somebody who can ment, you can't teach.
We're a kind of a facilitator.
Yes, facilitator. Yeah. Wonderful, doctor.
Two quick questions from both of you. Like first, I'll ask from Dr. Burmon. So you mentioned that we need quality teachers in order to bring quality students and quality education with skills also. So, and also Mr. Tyron sir mentioned about NEP 2020. So we are seeing that the quality of teachers can be raised with the common entrance test and the national level tests that are being restructured in NEP, or otherwise, how you see this concept, and do you believe that these kind of tests, they can bring quality teachers, or what other things should we incorporate? I just want to hear from you about it, sir.
So what I think is, what kind of tests, I'm not sure you're really talking of. So I need a teacher who is a friend of the students.
Right.
I wouldn't use the word teacher or student, a learner. See, as for me, I would love teaching English in the football ground. I would love teaching mathematics in the football ground. I don't want to teach it in the classrooms, the so-called, that idea of classroom we have in our minds. I don't need a building for that. So this is extremely important. I don't know how many people really appreciate this, because unless we come down to that level. See, if, of course, Tyron wasn't my colleague in Tura Government College, there what I used to find was, whenever I entered the classroom, there's kind of a smile at the faces. Because they knew this guy, I had bowled him out yesterday for a duck. Or I hit him for a 6 yesterday in a cricket field. So like we were together, we were fighting the game together, we were playing the game together. It's not that I was in that the elevated position in the platform and they were down there. It's not that. The whole thing has to change. Seating arrangement has to change. It just can't be like that. It's too old-fashioned, just one-way traffic. Because we teachers or teacher trainers, we have stopped learning. That's the whole problem. We refuse to learn. All the so-called gray-haired guys, we have stopped learning. So we have to learn from them and then give it back. Once they start feeling, oh, this guy has come to teach us, now they would shrink. When they have to give, they can give a lot to their teacher, then yes.
Yeah.
And the way
right, Doctor
is presented wonderfully. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And
Yeah.
we have received many appreciations and good positive remarks on YouTube Live. With this, I want to put to Mr. Nicholas. Sir, to reach the finale of this program, I would like to request if you can just give some inspirational demo or some tips to our youth to become RJ. We'll be very happy.
Yes.
So if some
All right.
tips we can get.
All right. At the first place, I myself didn't know that I will be becoming a RJ. But yeah, so for the ones who would like to take up RJ or to become a radio jockey, well, the most basic thing you'll need is an eye, an ear. Because an RJ has to see what nobody can see. He has to see stories in everything around him. Right now, Dr. Anirudh will be my talk on Monday. Mr. Tyron will be my talk on Monday. Chitra, you will be my talk on Monday. And anything and everything around us, is what a radio jockey should be able to weave a story in it. He should be a good listener as well, no doubt about that.
Sorry,
and music definitely has to be something that he has to, or she has to be in love with. And more importantly, of course, there are basic things, communication skills is there, a bit of technicalities is there. But nonetheless, the most core thing is that as a radio jockey, you have to be passionate, keeping in mind that this is one hot seat that you're sitting where it's not about just you. It's about, you don't know how many people, how many souls are listening to you and how are you connecting with those souls, And so to be able to do just that, you should be able to find yourself first, to know yourself first. You can't fake on radio.
Yes.
You can't fake it on radio.
Mm-hmm.
You will be caught. If you're faking it, you can fake it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4, 5, a month, and then you'll be done. You'll say that I can't do this anymore. So radio is all about knowing yourself first, knowing what you want to do on radio. What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you are going to be able to talk on and on and on and on? I mean, I can go on and on and on,
Wow. So, sir, as you love your audience, so on their demand, a little demo, if you can give us.
All right.
So good.
All right. And I mean, for the ones who are from Meghalaya and from Shillong, they know me. So how about I go? So, all right. So here we go. Yeah. So, right. Chitra is here, right? Okay.
Yes.
And right. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Matt Bonnie on the airwaves of 91.1 Red Shades Hot. And I tell you, right now, my hot seat is burning because I have somebody who's absolutely hung, and that's Dr. Anirudh. I'll tell you why. Well, don't go by his gray hairs. Okay, those gray hairs definitely are in style right about now. I am actually checking mine at this point of time and wondering whether I will be as handsome as him or not. And trust you me, well, I think that that tie that Mr. Tyron is wearing at this point of time is something that I need to kind of get a feel of, because I'll tell you what, if you want to be classy, if you want to put it right there, especially when you are on a date, you've got to put that knot really well. Seriously. And I tell you, you've got to really be able to cut across a lady like Chitra. And to be able to do so, well, these two men definitely blended as the perfect recipe for a man to be able to impress Chitra. So I tell you what, well, you better watch out for these two people, and there's definitely a lot more to learn from them. Right about now, how about we go ahead and enjoy another beautiful song? And which one would you like to listen to? I say, how about we put it this way? Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham, that's basically what life is all about. But let's make sure that each and every one of us live our lives so that we can make our life count. So how about we listen into the song called Don't Worry, Be Happy? And I'll be right back. Only on 91.1 Mirchi. It's hot.
Wow, sir, totally mesmerized, totally mesmerized. We want to keep an exclusive session of yours, sir, for this. We will definitely do it. And so with Dr. Burmon, sir, because he has given so very valid inputs for teaching, education, skills. So we want to invite once again both of you. We'll consult Mr. Tyron, sir, and to directly both of you. And we are very, very thankful to Tyron, sir, that he has given us this opportunity that we can meet both of you. And once again, with this, thank you so much. Tyron, sir, remarks from you, sir. And with that, we will end the show.
Right, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Chitra, for those wonderful questions you threw to Dr. Burmon and passionate Nicholas. The best part about the event was the depth that Dr. Burmon brought to the table and the passion and the experience of being a radio jockey that Nicholas brought to the table as well. I think it's been one of the, yes, wonderful, Nicholas. So correct. And keep up the wonderful work. I think this has been a wonderful evening with Dr. Chitra, Dr. Burmon, and Nicholas. Thank you and good night.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Tyron.
Thank
you, Dr. Anirudh.
Thank you,
Chitra.
Thank you, Chitra.
Thank you. Namaste.